Hello, John Dilworth here, and here we are as well, scene 142, a super important scene for me. We are now at the beginning of the conclusion of this adventure between these two lovers, and I had to get this scene right, if there's such a thing to say about right. And I was working on senses that are not physical, other than drawing in silence. If we could be completely immersed in an activity so that this very strange energies and impulses that arise from deep inside us, and I'm using the third person or the universal now, but it's the same for all of us. We're all this very special creature, a human being. And if we're not psychopaths, we have ability to access the soul. And well, I hesitate to reflect on the soul because everyone would have a different opinion of it. But I believe that we found a description by the poet Gottfried van Strasbourg, who wrote Tristan and Isolde back in the very early 13th century. And I just want to read something to you that I came across in a Joseph Campbell text on experience. And this is Gottfried. I have undertaken a labor out of love for the world and to comfort noble hearts. And he goes on. Another world do I hold in mind, which bears together in one heart its bittersweet, its dear grief, its heart's delight, and its pain of longing, dear life and sorrowful death, its dear death and sorrowful life. In this world, let me have my world, to be damned with it or to be saved. And as I was reading that, initially, I was reflecting on this, my own adventure with these two lovers, and all that they suffered through is exactly in the tradition of a noble heart, this quest of the journey for love for another human being, not a synthetic device or promise of tomorrow, but the right now, here and now, a physical flesh of blood, of tears, and then you have laughter and holding hands and hugs and kisses and sunsets and little brunches. These are the wonders of living. And this scene is, for me, is all of that and more, and which I can't yet articulate. And I do thank the composer for urging me to go deeper. This ending, this beginning sequence of ending, I've written maybe 5 times, because I wanted to experiment with various emotional results. And what I came away with here is all that Jim is, a boy turned into a man, or still in the process of turning into a man with all its responsibilities, and his, well, you could say his bride, Jules. And what's important for me, among many of the emotions in this little short bit, was Jules. She brings Jim forward. She comes to sit beside him and comfort him, is true, but she doesn't lean into him and then rest her head on his bigger, stronger shoulder. He's confused. He doesn't quite know what is happening. And doesn't that explain our everyday? If we're truly awake and listening, I could say this, perhaps a little bit too hyperbolic, but this is living fully charged. And they're in nature. They're in nature. They're beasts. I mean, they have no technology, but they're looking at a future that neither one of them really knows what's going on and what will come. And if you notice that Jim's eyes close and Jules remains open. Now, of course, she's been a werewolf longer than he has, right? So she's seen a few things, and she knows already by experience what's potentially to come. And now they're both in the same place. They're both in the same condition. And you could say that that is the aesthetic arrest of love, of passion, of devotion, of commitment. Right? And it could be these things for you in your own way. But also, these are the materials, the ingredients of making a story and animation that even I am just learning or being reminded again, but on a different consciousness. Now I feel like it's always this way. You think, oh, you're getting it now, but then it's, it's always too late, when you could have used it, a while ago. But it regardless, we move on. Just like Jim. And you see, he hangs on. Jules hugs him, rests her hand on his heart to feel its beating and to comfort it, to calm it. And he holds on. It's not quite a hug, is it? And I didn't plan this. That's the mystery of it. The intensity in which I needed these characters to work with me in a cooperation, you could call it solidarity, animation solidarity. And they began to come forward. What happened? What happened? We got a blackout. That's very interesting. That never happened before. Well, perhaps I was going too far. But here Jim is sitting underneath the tree. The tree, you could say the tree of immortal life. You could say the tree underneath the Bodhi tree, the immovable spot. Our history as on this planet is so deep and so long, we can't imagine. But luckily we have great minds like Joseph Campbell, who spent a lifetime researching and digging all this stuff up so that we could use it. So there it is. So 142, we've got, I don't know, much less than maybe 18 scenes left. And there's one, this is only the beginning of the conclusion, but not the resolution. I'm not going to show you the resolution because I don't want to spoil it for us. But it's very important that this worked out, and I'm very pleased, and so I'm sharing it with you. So with this, I hope that in your own pursuits, you get to this spot where I just did and radiate from it and what more could we want out of being creative and alive? Until next time, stay animated.